welcome to DevCast number 13. My name is Baraki, and we are still looking at the game called The Unwanted War. In the past 2 weeks, there has been a lot of progress, both visually and behind the scenes and in the logic. Some of the points I do want to touch on to today. We're gonna start out with probably what is visually the most striking feature. It has been lingering in the back of my mind to do that for a while, and I've finally gotten around to do that, and it has to do with planes. Now you can see we're here in the First World War era. We have some beautiful biplanes. These are, of course, Sopwith Pops, the very much start airplanes, so to say, for the British. And we're going to start these guys, and as you can tell, get some nice, beautiful trails behind them that also do actually differ in length depending how fast they are going. So they add some visual aspect to it. They give you a bit of indication where that plane is heading and how fast it is going. But you know, sometimes you might want to look at your planes from a different angle. And that's where the second feature that I want to showcase right now comes from, which is that the camera now, instead of zooming in all the way, now tilts at the end, which means if we go all the way here and look back, we can see the planes circling above us. This is still a bit of tweaking necessary to make all this behavior, as you can tell I'm dragging with a mouse, a bit smoother, but you can now see all these, and if I want to, can send some, sure, let's send some standard infantry units our way. Now we can inspect your troops close up and give them a good look. And of course, they can just fire a bit in the ground there, and then you can enjoy the visuals from up close, while there's still planes circling in the back. Now that's by far not all that has visually changed. Explosions are always fun. Explosion effects especially. But aren't they a bit more fun if you can see the flash of the explosion? Well, that's also sorted now. If I can have this placed, there are now beautiful light flashes with every explosion. It differs how large the explosion is, of course, but it is pretty much for every explosion that I've said. So if I were to build a tank now, which I'm not gonna because, okay, let's build a tank. Why not? Why not build a tank really quickly? So for that, we obviously need a storage building, and I need to briefly cheat, because I need the actual resources for this, to not drag out this video all too much. So as soon as the storage building is left, I can cheat the resources in and now place the workshop. Tanks are welcome, very much indeed. As you can tell, this is being live streamed on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Bardicky, or in the description, I think. Well, I'll put it in there once I render the video. Now, all that is done, and of course, oh, what is missing? The research is missing, and the research requires more. Okay, oops. I didn't have enough resources. Now we have better engines? No, it should be better engines. Slightly confusing. So I'll just briefly cheat in some more resources. And, no, still not. Quiet research tank. See, if I wasn't jumping around between all these different eras and factions so much, I might actually remember this one day. But there are only so many days in a week where I can work on this. So now we can finally spawn our Mark 4 tank. And I'm gonna briefly speed up the gamer touch. And there we have it. And of course, if it fires, it also gets nice explosions, which I obviously did not tweak as much so far. But yeah, these all have now beautiful flashes to it. And all the while, lights are still circling. I could look at this for quite a while. I have in the past already. It is just visually very beautiful. One of the nice things about it, when they change elevation, it is very striking. And it's one of my favorite features. It just looks very nice. No, I just can't get enough of that. Yeah, so the camera improvement has partly been for me to create content for social media, because it's just visually a lot more appealing, but also just for you as a player, it is a bit nicer to get down into the action. With Fog of War, you will not be able to see silhouettes or anything of stuff that is not uncovered. So that is fully on purpose. So that camera angle won't give you any unfair advantage or anything like that. It'll just be the ability to look a bit nicer. Disabled. Yep. Yes. Stream chat always tries to interfere with these recordings, but I remembered this time. So, we're now jumping, a little bit ahead in time into the Second World War, with a totally different faction this time as well. And there is a striking feature, if I can get the engineer build. Where is it? There it is. And then, not the strong point. Oh, I can't find it, I promise. Sure, it's the first one. Why wouldn't it be? So, the searchlight. You might think, what does a searchlight do in such a game? Well, quite easily, it spots into the Fog of War. So this extends your view range a good bit. It can give you a better warning. It can warn you of some long-range units. This does still take a bit of tweaking, but it does, it does its purpose. It unveils a bit of that Fog of War. So it's really only useful when you're playing with Fog of War, which is an option to not use it. It's a radar. Well, no, it's very clearly a searchlight, and I clearly need to update all the name and description, but I wanted to add the technical feature into it. Yeah, that's basically one of the bigger changes. For the last technical tidbit, I would like to call it, I will switch scenes really quickly into a development scene. Purely because I have more options there to play around. I don't need to build up anything. I just have everything available. This unfortunately always takes a little while, but while I'm talking through that, the general lighting system is still very much in the works. So what you've seen with the light explosions, is day-night timer plan thing. There won't be day-night per se. The only thing is that the sun rotates. I know it sounds a bit silly, but no, the actual sun source, light source in the game for the map, does just rotate to let you see the shadows, essentially. So there won't be anything that is permanently in the shadows. So you can't hide anything in the shadows, or could be surprised by it. But it is on a 10-minute timer, so every 10 minutes there's a full rotation of the sun. Night time isn't a planned thing, because it is just visually very difficult to find stuff in the dark without it emitting light. So at the moment that is definitely not planned. So I'm just gonna spawn in a handful of helpful grenadier units. And these guys, can tell, are very much firing in and out. So even these units that are just having a multiple grenade launcher, an M320, are firing in actual ballistic arcs, and once more there is a bit of light for every explosion. And with this beautiful barrage of explosions, this does conclude this week's DevCast. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.